this was happening. Or, yeah, maybe. So some of you may have been there the day that Penny invited Jennifer and me to come. There was a meeting up at the trailer on the other side of the campus here, and Jennifer and I came with notebooks, sketch pads, and you all brought your favorite weird fiber tools, and we learned about the general concept. I think you had your Hornshaw Swift, and there were lots of spindles and various other lazy Kates and things. So we walked away with pages of sketches and great intentions of doing something in the fiber world, but again, we didn't really appreciate how much of our future that was going to be. So it took me 10 minutes of rambling to even get to fiber, but here we are. Sometime in the spring of 2013, Penny poked yet again by saying, hey, you all really ought to check out Ravelry. There's this woman in Alberta, Canada, who has 3D printed a bobbin, and by that time we had added to our stable of interesting tools a 3D printer. And I think everybody knows that the general life rule of do what Penny suggests is not a bad life rule. And so I did log on to Ravelry. I created my ID there, and this woman in Alberta had made herself a Majacraft bobbin. It didn't work so great, so she made a second one. And then she kind of lost interest. And I had joined in this conversation on the conversation thread on Majacraft's group on the site. And it turned out this woman had done it. She's a math teacher and really wanted to learn this interesting CAD software that's done entirely through coding. So it looks like computer code. You put in a command with parameters. Anyway, it's easily the hardest way to do 3D modeling. But she had done it, and it was a really interesting exercise, and by the time it was over, she had a bobbin that worked, it was pretty, and it worked on her wheel, and she was content. But my having joined in the conversation and the back and forth that we had attracted a lot of interest on Ravelry, and a ton of people were saying, hey, that blue, lacy-shaped bobbin that she made, I want one of those, and I want it in other colors too, and I want it in other patterns too. And that was not her path. She was like, hey, if this Asian guy is interested in talking to you guys further, that's fine. I'm off on my next thing, and she was. So I stayed and kept talking to people, and that's essentially what came of it. The bobbins that we developed, they were pretty similar to this. They were flat pack purely as a matter of pragmatics. So the printers, this is Steve Martin. He's our only printer without a name tag, but he's definitely the best one for public display and entertaining shows. Steve Martin is building up something right now, layer by layer by layer, and the nature of that building process means that pancakes are really great to make, and barbell shapes, where the barbell is unsupported in the middle, is a terrible shape to make. The layers are not as strong between themselves, so you just don't want to have that stick hanging out there in the middle. So just purely out of the practicality of it, I decided to try making my first bobbins flat pack, just so that they were easier to make on the 3D printer. And as it turned out, that was the first time that there had ever been a bobbin that could be taken apart. And so that attracted a lot of attention. And then another aspect of the 3D printer is that it's shooting all of its plastic out of a hole about the size of 3 human hairs. The diameter of the hole is about 3 human hairs across, give or take. And that takes a while. Yeah. So just the sheer mass of plastic that's going to be in your bobbin is a direct determinant of how long it's going to take to bring that bobbin into existence. And so, again, just practicality, I said, that probably shouldn't be solid. Let's make it have some openings in it. And so I think the first pattern was the curvy spokes style, which is this one. It's not this one. So it was just meant to be a sort of a bicycle spoked style that would let it have the strength and the rigidity while still not taking forever to print. And that openness, the clear see-through end of it, again, purely by accident and pragmatism, was something that people had not seen in bobbins before. The ability to see through the end and see as your spiraling layers of color built up was something that spinners just, it was an eye-opening experience. And so all of these sort of accidental factors that just came out of the limitations of 3D printing, not really the advantages, but the limitations, one by one were things that attracted attention. So in 2013, that was in spring of 2013, she originally posted her first bobbin. By July, I think we put them up for sale in time for Tour de Fleece. Sold some, and I think it was a perfect amount. It was enough that we could get them out there and find out their strengths and limitations. And then, as quickly as possible, we started trying to improve on them, and that's what we've done over time. We've also, gone well beyond just 3D printing. Every one of our products has other components that are not 3D printed. The bobbin itself is a great example of that. The actual material that contacts the steel shaft is a special polyacetyl compound. It's called Delrin Anti-Friction. It's a Teflon-infused, tough but very low friction material. It has a static and kinetic coefficient of friction that are very close to each other. And so the kind of the stiction effect that you feel when you go from a stop to a start is kind of minimized by that choice. And so these are sort of the hidden tech. We get talked about as a 3D printing company, but the best parts of our bobbins are not 3D printed. They're the hidden things like that. The core was originally aluminum, which was a lot lighter than the solid wood core, but we've gone over to this filament wound epoxy tube that's super light, super tough, just really great advanced composite material that this small business out in Washington State makes them for us. That's just the tube part. We assemble the core ourselves. And then, similarly, with our spindles, that we introduced the spindles in the spring and summer of 2014. Those are 3D printed, but they have these stainless steel weights to give them that momentum to keep on spinning and spinning. The shaft is a carbon fiber, a solid carbon fiber rod with a nice malleable steel hook. So again, I try not to rankle when I hear that description of Akerworks, those 3D printing people, because while the 3D printed component is wonderful and it gives us a lot of advantages, this product would be a pale shadow of what it is if it were merely 3D printed. Also, it'd be easier to make, so that's no fun. That's no fun. We like to make things harder to make. And when I try to wrap up a little bit, I said we, and I've said we a lot of times, and it's probably sounded like we was Jennifer and me, and it is. But Jennifer is teaching full-time at the architecture school at UT, and what we has also become is not only my family, my sisters helping a ton with the marketing and the business aspects of it. The rest of my family participate. There are board members. Tonight we're having a board meeting that's going to look an awful lot like a family supper, but we has also become the lovely people many of y'all have met, Clara and Jackie over in the corner there. None of this would be possible if it were just Jennifer and me in my sister's basement. We did, in November of 2013, acquire a little building over in Mechanicsville, and that made it easier to invite friends over to play. And Clara and Jackie are amazing parts of that. So right now it's mostly Clara, Jackie, and also a guy named Ed who does the woodworking and wood finishing and many other aspects of it. So that who of it has become a lot more interesting than just Jennifer and me trying to do something that seems sort of kind of interesting to us. I think having more people involved has made it a much richer experience. Definitely better ideas come when there are more of us to talk through them, figure out what's needed and what works and doesn't.